the Network for Peace Through Dialogue, is delighted to have all of you here. And we're very happy that we have an opportunity tonight to recognize the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park. But for anyone who has been here before, you know we start with a very special treat. And I turn this over to Mario, who will give us our treat.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for all that you do for this wonderful organization. Tonight we're going to sing, this is the chamber choir, so they're juniors and seniors, and they're part of the Marymount Singers, which is the larger choir of about 65 girls in the upper school. So today they're going to be singing for you a song by a wonderful, I know who it is. They're very smart. The nice thing is that they're always out there to help me out. By Stevie Wonder, a wonderful pop composer, Stevie Wonder, and the song is called Ass, and it talks about, what song is it? Ass! And they're going to do it unconducted. They're going to take over right now. All right, so.
As around the sun the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As no can't reveal the mysteries of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all that's born is new, you know what I'll say is true, that I'll be loving you always. Until the rainbow turns the stars out in the sky. Always. Until the ocean covers every mountain high. Always. Until the dolphins
And a very special thanks to Mario Dell'Olio, who does this as a treat for us every year. Marymount School welcomes us every year, and Miss Isa is going to welcome us from Marymount School.
I love Stevie Wonder. And I love the girls. And I've known them since they were this high. And I think what's really great is that you are an organization that's all about peace and recognizing people who have made a difference in the world. And everything about Marymount is exactly just that. That we are raising people to do just what you have been doing. And we're making a difference in the world. And you stopped every one of those girls and said to them, what is the mission of this beautiful school? They would say it is to care, serve, and lead, to question, risk, and grow, and to challenge, shape, and change the world. Every single one of them. Everybody who's part of Marymount, it's true, right? And by the way, I've tested this all the time. Strangers who come to New York, come to Marymount, I say, just ask anybody here what the mission is. And the girls will do it and they'll perform. And I think that's why it's really special that this is where you have your big event today. In addition to your wonderful conversations in beautiful homes, that you are recognizing wonderful organizations that have made a difference in our communities, and that you're recognizing them here. Because that's the symbol of Marymount, of the religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary, that brought these schools to life around the world. So I welcome you warmly. This is your baton right here. You're going to make sure you have it in your hand, because this is how you're going to support this wonderful organization, Children's. So feel free to make yourself at home. That's what we're all about. And spend your money.
So, this is the Network for Peace Through Dialogue. And we've been around for quite a long time. We've been trying to emphasize the importance of dialogue as a peacemaking tool for 30 years. Consistently been leading the way of promoting dialogue as a way to settle differences and build the peace. As we listen to what's going on these days, you can see some fruits of that kind of a thinking and that kind of work. For instance, through dialogue and negotiation, not through war and bombing, the U.S. and its allies brokered brokered an agreement with Iran to control its nuclear weapons buildup. Right? That was done through dialogue and negotiation. And all of you many of you all live in New York around, the Pope was here. He spoke many times. And almost every time he spoke, he was saying, there must be dialogue. I don't know if you heard that word, but for every talk that you listen to. And his recent encyclical called Laudato Si, they named them by the first words of the letter. But it's about our common home, and it's about our environment that we live in. In his 5th chapter, every single subheading of the chapter includes the word dialogue. So what you can see is that dialogue is very important. And we've been working at that. And now I'm going to tell you something. A very good piece of news. The Schlesinger Library at Harvard is a library that records the lives of women in the United States. And so it documents works of women. And they have recognized and will accept papers from the Network for Peace because many of you know Sister Kathleen and I have been leading this for many years. And so that's women's work. So they will house our documents and all of our papers and all of our programs and all of our newsletters and all of that. And in addition, our website. They will harvest our website both now and then in 6 months they'll harvest it again and then they'll harvest it again. And we can send them papers now and we can send them papers later. So this is a big, wonderful accomplishment to preserve the history. So that will help other people to think of ways to do things and how important dialogue is. So we're very happy. We're going to recognize the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park because they do things that embody the kinds of things we do. And but Kathleen Cannon is going to talk for a couple minutes now about what our ongoing work is.
The only value that we would have would be gratitude, and the only prayer that we would ever say would be thank you. I think that's sufficient. So I just want to say thank you for all you have done to participate in being with us over these years, and may it continue. So thank you for being here, and I want to follow up on the good news that Ginny just said about our files and our archives being available for researchers at the Schlesinger Library. And we're going to begin this transfer soon, so I'm to speak to you what's coming up in the next year. We're going to take our records that are now in storage, go through them, and begin sending them on. You know, we're a small organization, a staff of 7 people. But we have big plans for the coming year. I was reflecting just the other night about our small group of 7 people. We are male and female. We're Asian, Caucasian, and Black. We are Christian, Jewish, and Muslim. And we come from different countries, 7 people, it's amazing. And we work together. We try to practice our means of the principles of high quality dialogue and what we plan and what we present. So we try to model what we're doing. So tonight, as Ginny said, we're really delighted to honor the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park because their mission matches so well the values of our Common Ground project in which we've been involved in this past year. And our goal is to deepen our understanding of our place in the universe and our relationship to everything on earth. We're extending the concept of relationship. Human rights, yes, but rights for everything that exists, for everything that is before us. And like us, the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park work in their local community, they build community, and are concerned about creating better relationships with all on earth. Over the years, that Ginny said 30 years is a long time, 1984, we have collaborated with national and international groups as well as local level groups. We are connected to the United Nations as participants in the work of the NGO Committee to Stop Trafficking in Persons. One of the workshops we presented this past year on human trafficking in a local church is now coming to us as they continue to develop their own program outreach on this important concern, as we know that everybody everywhere needs to be concerned about this issue of human trafficking. And we attend and work on programs and report on gender issues during the time of the Commission on the Status of Women at the UN. And we will promote attention and action on the newly formed development goals proclaimed by the United Nations. Now, you will be able to share with us our interventions through our expanding use of the social media, through our web, our Facebook, our Twitter, and our newsletter, and our blog. This past year, we interviewed 13 people who are also dedicated and working to save our Earth. These interviews will continue as we continue to post these videos, and we have developed our own special resource list, which is on our Common Ground page in our website. For more than 2 decades, we have engaged in gathering what we call living room dialogue sessions, and all of our notes for each session are available on our website. That is what is going to be shared with everyone who wants to follow how a very small group dedicates itself and creates programs over a period and survives over that period and doesn't survive without the support and help of the people on the outside making the financial ability for us to do this. Recently, Ginny mentioned one aspect of how dialogue has gotten a great boost, but recently dialogue got a big boost from the Nobel Peace Prize when it was awarded to the Dialogue Quartet in Tunisia, a group who through dialogue preserved the growing democracy in Tunisia, while all the other countries involved in Arab Spring reverted back to oppressive states. And one of our most recent blogs by one of our members here, Maisha, picked up on this, and she wrote a blog from her perspective, inspired by that idea of dialogue being important, but saying she was calling for a call for positive role models. And you can find this on our website. This award was real. It was a real win for dialogue, but it was a real win for us too. So as you can see, we have a big program coming up, and we hope you will be generous with your helping us out this evening through our auction. We have many donations available for you to bid. And now we want to do the special thing that we have come together to do tonight, which is to honor the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park. And we were introduced to Van Cortlandt Park by Peggy Gray, who is our writer and our editor who has worked with us for almost all of those 30 years. And because she knows them, she introduced them to us, she is going to come here and introduce them to you. Peggy.
I thought I would like to say a little bit about the park. There's a big video out there which describes a lot of the work that the Friends do in this park, and it says a lot about the park in that video. But a little bit that you may not know is that in the 19th century, there was a little railroad spur that went from the city up to Yonkers through the Northwest Bronx. And people in New York, if they wanted to go on a nice day trip to the country, would come up there. In 1888, the city purchased the plantation of the Van Cortlandts, and it's now more than 1,000 acre park. And there are many, many things that go on in that park. There's famous cross-country running course. There's 2 golf courses. There's a swimming pool. There's tennis courts. There's playing fields where you can see people playing cricket and other games. I'm not naming them all. There's more things. There's riding stables. And there's also a plot that belongs to the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, where they conduct some composting and grow a garden. So, where was I going with this? Oh, yes, that I am so grateful that our city fathers or mothers or whoever they were had the foresight to set aside this land for us to enjoy. Thousands of people enjoy to this day all the things that can happen in that wonderful park. But, and there's always a but, right? In the 1960s and 70s and 80s, when there was a big budget crunch in the city, funding for parks was slashed to the bone. And since then, it's been up to concerned citizens to take up the slack and to maintain the parks. And so in 1992, the New York Times ran this article about the neglect of the parks in the boroughs. And there was a woman with a wonderful name, Felicity Nitz saw this article, and the article said, Van Cortlandt Park needs a friend. And she decided that she would be the friend. She was the first friend, and she found other friends. And today we have many friends of Van Cortlandt Park. And some of them are here with us tonight. So I want to say something about Christina, too, who's the director of the park. Christina is one of these rare people who has known since she was a little child what she loved most in life. She loved, when she was growing up, playing in the woods. When it was time to go to college, she knew she wanted to work in the outdoors. She chose SUNY's College of Environmental Science and Forestry to go to college. And when she got out, after a time, she found Friends of Van Cortlandt Park. And so the park can now enjoy her skills, forestry skills, and among her other skills. One of the things that she enjoys doing now is walking one of the trails and seeing some of the trees that she planted when she first came there 15, well, I don't know if she planted them immediately, but she's been there 15 years. But in some of those early years, she planted some trees which needed to be defended from invasive plants, and now she goes along that trail, and the trees are healthy, growing trees. And she also enjoys all the work that the friends do with young people, bringing young people into the park and seeing them grow in their understanding of their connection to the land. And so, I'd like to introduce Christina, and we have other members of the Friends here. And if they could all come forward, we will get to see some of the people who keep Van Cortlandt Park.
Try this without the mic. Can everyone hear me?
Does that now? Yes? Oh, excuse me. I'm missing the staff here.
So thank you so much for having us here this evening. This is very exciting. I had a speaker, I don't think I'm really going to follow it. Peggy, you just had me thinking that I really should have paid attention that first tree I planted. I know the general area, but I don't know which tree it was. I know my first tree, and I want my new stuff. I wasn't thinking 15 years ago. I was young at college, I didn't know. So I just wanted to share a little bit tonight with our story, how the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park came to be, and Peggy touched upon it some. As some of you may remember, in the 70s and the 80s, parks were just neglected in general. They weren't considered a safe place to go as we consider them now. It's a place you can go and escape city life. And unfortunately, at that time, you couldn't do that. But in 1980, a little group formed, you may have heard of them before, the Central Park Conservancy. Kind of well known. And they were the first group to really form and say, hey, local people can take care of a park. And they set an example for other parks. So then in 1992, New York Times wrote an article that said new friends wanted for Bronx Park. And Felicity Nitz was a wonderful woman who's still on the board with the Friends, was reading the article, drinking her cup of coffee in the morning as she did every morning, read the New York Times. And she thought to herself, someone should do something. And she said that to her husband. She's like, someone should do something. And he looked at her and goes, well, why don't you do something? And she did, which was wonderful. Most people, like me, I would have read the article and thought that too. Someone should have done something, and I would just move on with my day. But she actually got up and did something. And within 6 weeks, she got a group of her friends together. They all put in some of their own money. They found other sources of funding. And it wasn't a lot of money, but they got enough money to hire a group of teenagers just to pick up garbage in the park. Because in the New York Times, they described that a storm was coming. And that storm was park users. People like you and me. It was just that the budget had just been cut. 1,000 people weren't going to be hired as seasonal employees for the parks and throughout the city to maintain them. So litter was going to become a priority for the Parks Department. So she ended up making litter the priority for these teens so that the Parks Department could do graffiti removal, general painting, cleanup, things we don't think of as needing to be done until someone doesn't do them, and then you realize the problem. So for the first few years, that's all the Friends did was, hire kids to pick up garbage, and they grew their board, they got their nonprofit status, they hired an executive director, that wasn't me yet, and they, continued going. And then in 1996, they partnered with the Riverdale Neighborhood House to develop the program into a school year program. So they, brought in environmental education and job readiness training for these kids, and we moved away from doing garbage cleanup. Because at that point, the park staff was bouncing back. There was people that do that. And we realized that, all right, now the forest is being neglected. There's no park staff to maintain the forest in the natural areas. So that's what we started doing. Because Van Cortlandt Park is over 1,000 acres and half of it is forested. So there's a lot of forests that need to be taken care of. So now I remember where I was. So the parks grew over time. I joined the Friends in the fall of 2000 as the outreach coordinator. And the executive director at the time basically said to me, do whatever you want. Whatever you want, then we'll get people into the park and leave loving the park and knowing about the Friends. So I thought about some of what I wanted to do, and education was really what I wanted to do, because I felt at the time, and I still feel, that the key to getting people to care about the environment is to bring them into nature and to start them young. So I developed our Van Cortlandt Ventures program, which is our free education programs for school groups that we still do today. And then we slowly grew over the years and added some more programs. And then the fall of 2006, I became the executive director when the previous executive director left. And over the years, one of the things I've worked on is to make sure that I have a staff that I can trust and that I believe in to run our programs. And I do. So now 23 years after that article was written, here we are, the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, and I wanted to share some of our recent accomplishments. So last year we served our largest number of participants in history, 6,653 young people and adults, a little of everything. We worked with over 1,600 volunteers on garden, forest, and trail restoration projects. We had 2,500 kids go through our Van Cortlandt Adventures program. We hired 12 interns for our Summer Teen Trails crew who maintain the trails. We run a youth market, a youth-run farm stand at 2 locations. And after years of rallying and doing advocacy, this is a 15-year process, we helped to secure funding for a pedestrian bridge over the highway, one of the highways that cut through Van Cortlandt Park to connect the eastern and western halves. So that was very exciting.
Very big.
I just want to introduce everybody who's with me tonight. We have Sarah Kempton, she's our Director of Programs. Sarah's been working with the Friends, I think, for about a decade now. I was trying to figure out the exact date. She started as part-time, and I don't remember when exactly she became full-time. But apparently we've been working together so long and people think we're sisters. We're starting to look alike. But she really runs our youth-run farm stand and our garden, and those are really only because of her and the work she does. John has been with the Friends for about 18 months now. He's our Trails Project Manager, that's his official title, but he really does so much more. He jumped right in with both feet, which was wonderful, and just took off and started developing programs and figuring out what needed to be done, which is what we needed. And he has started to help us start a new wetlands program that we are doing now. And that's it, it's the three of us. So when you talk about small staff and 7, we're a small staff with 3. We're 3 full-time people. I have 2 board members here tonight, Doris and Irene. Say that I love my board. They are wonderful. I think I have the best board. I often call them my cheerleaders because they really do. They cheer me on and cheer the friends on, which is wonderful. So I just want to thank you guys so much for having us here tonight. We really do appreciate it. And for those of you who haven't seen Van Cortlandt Park, please come up and see it. I promise it's the best park in New York City.
Oh golly, I hope you agree that small is big, and we can accomplish big things with small groups of people. And one thing that we have been involved in, and you have been involved in for over the years, is building community. We build community through relationships. And well, we're a little bit older than you, so we've been around. We have a large community, international and whatever, but we always welcome new people. And for the past 3 years, Eugene Flynn has been here to present the auction to us. And he brings his mom and his wife. And I spoke to him recently, and he is, in addition to being a good son and a loving husband, he is very proud of his 2 children who are in their early 20s doing also great things. So, and he is also connected to our mission. I don't know if he's going to talk about it, but it's, I don't know, it's, what is it? It's
a Billion Oyster Project.
A billion oyster project to help clean up the rivers. And so this is another small project of what we're really about doing. So it's wonderful how we're all connected. And he is going to come up here now, and he is going to inspire you to bid on some of those wonderful auction items we have out there. And when we're finished, and maybe just so you know this, we still can go out, you can pick, because we didn't finish eating, and we didn't finish drinking, so, and we didn't finish bidding on the other auction items. Please don't let us take them home. You're going to get some really good bargains, and so bid. So here you are.
I am very, very happy to be here, and we congratulate the Friends of Cortlandt Park, Van Cortlandt Park, and they didn't even mention one of the things that they have incredible cross country there. The running that goes on there is amazing. We're very proud of you, and we're very proud of the network, Peace Through Dialogue, what they do. And I feel walking into this space tonight, I thank Marymount very much for hosting us here, that the group of people that are in this room and everyone that supported everything that was going on tonight did this because they opened their heart to the chance of peace. And if we in this room exude that as we leave without any money in our wallets, that is, this night will be extremely successful. So, with that, I want to welcome you all here and realize that this is the fundraising portion of it, so don't be shy, be very generous, and realize that if you buy something that you really look at and say, what the hell did I buy this for? You'll realize every time you look at it what's behind it. What's behind it. What's behind it is this incredible mission that you're working on. Okay, so I have some people helping me bring out the first item. Come on out. And what is your name?
I'm Hannah.
Hannah's helping us tonight. Thank you, Hannah. She was on The Price is Right, but she took the night off tonight. Because the first item we have is a wonderful painting by Claire McBrien. This is 19 inches and a half by 19 and a half. It's a wonderful, wonderful watercolor that Claire has generously donated. There's a value of $400 for this item. We're going to start the bidding at $50. Do I have $50 for this? Do I have $100? I have $50. I'm looking for $100. Is there $100 anywhere in the room? Remember why we're here? this exceptional watercolor, and how hard watercolor? I have $100. Exceptional watercolor. This imbued piece, this lovely woman and her child on her back with beautiful tapestries of color. $100. Do I hear 150? Anywhere in the room? 150? We have 150. Do I have 200? 200? 250? 250? Yes, 250. 300. 300? We go 400. 400 and I'll sell it right now. And everybody will buy. 400? I have 350, 400. 350 once? 350 twice? My wife wants to come up here. Joyce, come on up here. All right, we have $350. It's the first item sold, $300. Then $350. Now, wonderful clapping. I need you to clap in between, you know, like when we're trying to push it up a little more. Okay, so we're going to go to the next item, which is wonderful. Where is Mr. Payne? Wonderful. Don't say wonderful again, Eugene. You'll be in trouble. Okay, Mr. Payne, where is he?
He was here.
He was here. He came to the order. And how, you know, this is interesting. Not only do we have incredible generosity in our donors, but we're all connected. How did he come to us, Kathleen?
He lives in our building and he works hard at the place to honor.
She wasn't going to let him out the front door unless he donated something. But we have this incredible area.
There he is.
Mr. Payne, come in here. This gentleman is the operations officer. The operation officer at Synergy Fitness Club. Thank you so much for your help. This is a $700 value to go to a health club to build up those muscles to do great things for this organization. This value of $700 could be yours. We're going to start the bidding at $200 for the fitness club for 1 year. $200 I have. Do I have $300? $200 here. It's a value of $700. And Mr. Payne will hand walk you to every single piece of exercising machine. We have $200. Anyone else for this bargain for $200? You can give it as a gift to someone for Christmas. The club, there are 10 clubs. There's 2 clubs on 14th Street. They're uptown, they're downtown. There's one out in Syosset. There's Staten Island, Brooklyn, Garden City. In Astoria, there's one on Mulberry Street. There's one on 31st Street. And there's also one up here on 2nd Avenue. So there's tremendous opportunities to actually go and work out. It's a $700 value. I have $200. Anybody else coming? There, I have $300. Anybody else? $400? $400, again, you can give it as a gift. It makes a wonderful Christmas present, Hanukkah present. What is the Muslim holiday? You have 7 people in your office. There has to be someone that needs some push-ups. We have $300 here. $300 anywhere else? I'm going to let it go for $300. Mr. Payne, isn't this an incredible value for $300?
Yes, it is.
Sold, $300. Number 30. Okay. Who is bringing in guests for Thanksgiving, over Christmas, but you don't want them to actually be in your house? All right? I love you, but here's what you're saying. Okay? Not only will they be staying in New York, they'll be staying in an incredible West Side studio apartment. This is for up to 5 nights. There's a 2-night minimum, but you can have it for a whole week. As Ben Franklin says, after 3 days, it'll be like, you want to get rid of them, but you can keep them at bay in a separate apartment here on the Upper West Side. This is available through the generosity of John and Kathy. We're going to start this bidding with, well, you figure 5 nights in New York is at least $100 a night. So that's at least a $500 value. We're going to start it at $150. We will leave $150 for the studio apartment for 5 nights on the Upper West Side. 5 nights on the Upper West Side. Anybody? Anywhere? Anywhere? They're off the hook for...
Where is it?
It's on the Upper West Side, 96th Street. It's between Central Park and Riverside. That's the West Side right now. Okay. Anyone? Well, the food, they didn't know that Fifth Avenue was on the east side, right? Anyway, we're at, anyone for this, we pass on this item and go on to the next? We have $200. $200 for New York. No, $100. $100 for all five.
You said 150.
All right, so $200. I mean, it's a network of peace, right? So $150.
myself.
$150 once. Anybody else? Twice? Thank you, Pat. $150. The next item. You want to bring this down a little bit? If you look around this room, everywhere in this room are paintings by Jane Hare. This is an incredibly talented artist who has done work here in New York, who just recently, well not recently, a few years ago, moved to Santa Fe. And here is a wonderful winter scene from Santa Fe. Her artwork is in some of the finest homes throughout the metropolitan area. Every year she donates very generous to Marymount and also to the Network of Peace. We are honored to have her work here. You can look at her work, harefineart.com. She's a very talented, established oil painter, and she has generously donated this value at $2,500. We're going to start the bidding at $500 for the Jane Hare. Anyone for $500 for the Santa Fe art? I have $500 for number 18. We're looking for $600. $600, thank you. Number 32, we have $600. Do I have $700? $700 for a $2,500 value oil painting. Meticulously painted, beautiful Santa Fe, probably in an Aurora. We have $600, $700, thank you very much. Any $800 I have up there. I'm looking for someone to clap for the $800 we have. I'm looking for $900. $900 for the painting. We have $800. $800 anywhere else? $800 going once? $900. Thank you very much. $900. $1,000 item in the live auction. We have 10 items. If we sold each of them for $1,000, we'd have $10,000 for Network of Peace. We have $900. When anyone go to $1,000? Anywhere $1,000. $900 once. $900 twice. Sold. $900. Another thing to be adored at Marymount. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to interrupt our 10 items because I wasn't totally honest. There's no priest here, so I don't have to confess. But we're going to do, if you're here, Leslie Fowler, because I didn't know you were here. All right, so this is what we're going to do now. If you're here and everybody has a number, can I see everybody's number? Everybody should have a number. And if we only would have had this many people raising their paddles right off the bat, you would have been finished with me already, because you probably have had enough, and it's only 15 minutes. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I want you to bid for nothing. Well, it's not for nothing. It's for this cause. It's for the continuation of these programs. We're talking about violence against women, human trafficking, Common Cause, working with groups like Van Cortlandt Park, working to create the dialogue that people will begin and continue to understand how we can get things solved just talking to each other. Something that doesn't always happen. People talk, but some people don't listen. But this network of dialogue, it's about interacting with speech and getting results by people talking to each other. So, if you're here and you want to contribute, but you don't necessarily want to buy a painting, a necklace, a teacup out there, I'm going to ask you or someone to raise their paddle for $1,000 and say, I believe in this cause and I want to donate $1,000 tonight. Will anyone raise their little pamphlet for $1,000? Anyone? $750. Can I have someone raise their paddle for $750? Silence. But I'm not shy. $500. Will anyone raise? I have $500. Number 6. Thank you. Number 2. That's $1,000. So with your thoughts, I'm not finished. $250. Will someone raise their paddle for $250 for this cause? 250, number 35. 250, 35. Another $500. It happens. I'm looking for someone to raise their paddle, or a group of you to raise your paddles for $100. Do I have someone who will? Number 34, thank you. Number 96, thank you. Number 31, thank you. Number 19, thank you very much. So there we have it. And I'm still not shy. $50. Will someone raise their paddle for $50? $50 in the back. Number 94, thank you. Number 83, thank you. Number 10, thank you very much. Double the price we got with the teacups. Okay. I'm at $25. My wife implored me to say $25, but I would have went to one here. $25. Will someone raise their paddle? $25. Number 4, thank you very much. Number 22, thank you very much. $25. Okay, so I'm done.
The second one on the 500, sorry, I got number 2. I know, do you have, what was the second number? I have 2. 6.
Number 6. Okay, so here we go. We're off to the next item, which is Dawn wow her children at a spring fling. But this is an extraordinary gentleman who will do magic for your children, your grandchildren's party. So we want to see if we can get a starting bid of $100 to have someone come to do magic at your home for a child's party. Do you have $100? Anyone having a party coming up with the children that you need something? 97. Thank you very much for 100. Do we have $150 for the kids' magic show? I'll disappear if you give me 200. Anyone? Get rid of them, please. We have $100 here. Anyone else? We're going to go $100 each.
In the park?
They do it in the park?
No, maybe.
A magic show for 100 kids in the park. Donate it, and Don will come and do the magic show in the park for 100 people that you generously donated for $200. That's $200, 100 kids, $2 kid. I mean, how does it go wrong? We have $100 once, twice, so. All right, now we have this great quilt. Now I have to, at a full disclosure, I have a phone bid for this. Much love and thanks. No. We have a phone bid for this next quilt. Let me give you a hand here. This is just extraordinary. It's 90 by 110. I did my homework.
It's bigger than a queen.
Look at this. It's huge. It could be on a king size bed.
Yeah, it's bigger than a king. Sorry.
Handmade. Now I went online
bigger
and I
than a
looked and I
king.
said, what is the value of an Amish made quilt this size? And the value that I saw online was $700. So for something that was handmade, generously donated by Judith Dewey from Tyrone, Pennsylvania, in the heart of Amish country, I don't think that we can start this bidding any less than $400 for something that's worth $800. So I have $400 in the back. Do I have any other bids? I'm going to $500. $500 anywhere. $500. I have $400 in the back. $400 for the queen size handmade quilt from the Amish. Anybody else? I have someone generously offered to give us $1,000 for this on the phone. So we're going to sell it for $1,000 to the person on the phone. I want you to all clap, and I'm going to. What do you go 1,100?
Oh my God.
We have 1,100. Anybody else then? What are you going to do with that? Is that a wedding present? No. It's going to be a cold winter, I see. Okay. So we're on to the oil painting Little Pond, an 8 by 10 original oil panel by Carolyn Jasper. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to get this framed, but we're going to start the bidding at $50 for an incredible oil painting, a souvenir of tonight, a remembrance of what you're doing for the Network of Peace. For peace, we'll start it at $50. Anyone $50 for the oil painting? $25 for the oil painting. 25, 35 behind you. 35, will you do 35? Yeah. Will you do 45? Will you do 40? Will you do 40? Will you do 50? Get her, come on, just push her. $40 once, $40, $50. That's $50 quietly in the front, number 100. Okay, will you do $50, will you do 60? $60, will you do 70? Will you do 80? 7, 8, 7, 7, 8. You're going to go up 100. Sold, forget it. You know, these auctioneers, you can't trust them at all. All right. The next item up is an incredible vacation for up to 8 people in lovely Stratton, Vermont. Joyce, thank you very much for this generous donation. The date that you will be able to use this, you can mutually agree upon. I don't think there are a lot of black dates, are there? Blackout dates? So think about this. 1 week in Vermont, what would it cost you to have 8 people there? At least $1,000. But we're going to start the bidding at $500. We have a testimonial. Someone here won it last year. Who was that? Elizabeth. 2 years ago. Doesn't matter, a year, 2 years. Okay, come on up and tell us about this. Yes, a commercial. This is Elizabeth. She actually was skiing down the slope. She broke only one leg, but she's here to talk about it.
No, I was there in the summer. It was wonderful. We invited our whole family, and only my husband and I came, which made it even nicer. Aside from that, peace and quiet, the condo is absolutely beautiful. It's in a wonderful area. We saw most of Vermont, which, as you know, is a small state. And we had a fabulous time. The whole area is beautiful. It's close to Mansfield. It's not too far from Bennington. And it was heavenly. I would strongly recommend it. Thank you.
Thank you. She paid $64,000. But we're going to start at $500. $500 for a week in Vermont for a party of up to 8. $500 anywhere in the room, $500 for Vermont. $500, I'm looking for $600. $600 per month, that's less than $100 a person for a week. I think, yeah. Okay, so we're at $600. Anyone else? We have $500, $600 we're looking for. $500 for this great charity. $600. There you go. She's going back. She likes her husband that much, she's taking her back. So I have $700. Can you do $700? Network of Peace? 700. 800? No, not 800. 700? Nobody else? Just 2 bidders? $700 once? Twice? Joyce didn't want to tell me this until you actually won. She puts a case of Dom Perignon in the refrigerator. Okay, the next item. It's a 5-course dinner for 4 at Tocqueville. A wonderful Leslie, Don's wife, yes, donated this. Dinner for 4. It's a value of $460. It's a 5-course dinner at one of the finer restaurants in all of New York City. It's worth $460. We're going to start the bidding at $200. $200 for dinner for 4. Anyone? $200. Do I have $300? $400. Do I have $450? $450 I have. I'm looking for $500. $500 for something that's worth $460. Now think about it. Why would you do that? Why would you bid $500 for something that was worth $460? For the same reason you're here tonight. So where's the $500? $500. Thank you very much. Do I have $600? Let's hear it for $500. But I'm not. So anyone else, I have $500. This is a great cause. I can. I believe in it. So we're at $500. Anybody else? $500 once, $500 twice. Sold. $500. And you're finally going to get rid of me after we give the best. I saved this to last because I think this is incredible. A 5-night experience in Toronto. Now, Pat's here, and she is a sister to one of the sisters. Where's your sister?
Right there.
Do you want to auction this one off? Have you been to the apartment? She's never been invited. But you can have it and invite her. And that'll be a real twist. Would you like that, sister?
Definitely.
All right. So Toronto, a beautiful, wonderful city. There's a beautiful lake. There's an island around it. There's great shops, museums. It's a wonderful place to go and have a vacation, just to get away. And it's a beautiful apartment. There's a beautiful balcony that looks out over the city. What's the ballet house that you're looking over?
National Ballet.
The National Ballet House. There's a pirouette's going on right as you're going. It's really a special place. Pat brought down mittens, but you do not have to go when it's cold because they have a beautiful summer up there. I mean, gnats. There's no gnats there. There's no gnats at all. She told me just a few. So anyway, if you would like to bid on this, it was generously donated by a sister for a sister, and we're going to start this wonderful vacation that I think is worth easily $1,000 at $500. We have $500 for a week in Toronto. $500. Thank you very much. You can take her through. How many people, Pat, could sleep there?
There's
Count the balcony.
Okay. 2 twin beds, 1 queen bed.
Okay.
So you could probably
Depends
have a
how
young
friendly they are.
person.
So let's start at 500. We have 500. Does anybody go for 6? Do we have $600 anywhere? $600? $600? Mittens included? $600? We have $500. You know what? I think we should just give it to the Van Gordons for $500. But I'd like somebody else to bid. I really would, because then they'll bid again for $700. And we'll get it. We'll get them on the hook. Do I have 600 anywhere? 600. Would you like it? I thought it was a good idea that you know, so we're going to do 700? 650. We'll let her have it for 7 if you say 650. 625. Should you do it for 625? What do you think?
Yes.
Doesn't want to get fired. Okay, I understand that. 600. Anyone else? We're at 600? 600 once?
Do we have a last bid on this?
Oh, another telephone bid. $1,000. We have $1,000. Can you give 1,000? 1,100?
That's fine.
No. All right, so we're going to take the last item up for $1,000 for our phone person. Who is this person? Joe Biden. Someone in Boston. Okay, they're driving up. They're driving over. Okay, so that looks like it's it. We're going to take $1,000 for that. We're going to add this up, and Sister Mary Joseph, you're going to tell us a total later so everybody can feel good about what they did, right?
No.
No?
She forgot to tell me that's part of it.
Thank you so much, all of you, for your generosity. All right, before you go, one more announcement.
Just a big thank you for Eugene. It's not over yet. You still have time to go out and please make your last bid. You have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to eat up and drink up, and we will ring a bell. And at the end, the people at the desk where you are, the last bid, watch who you know so that you get, it's the highest bid will win on the auction items, and then you'll come to the central table and you will pay up. But you go and pick, if you happen to win the item for the silent auction, pick up the card and bring it to the table and pay for it, and then you go back to your table and pick up your item. Amen.